department. We actually are the only Venezuelan fine dining restaurant in the West, on the third one in the entire country. So we are trying to do something different in the restaurant. I want the West Side to be more than it is right now. I think the government always take care of Grand Avenue and downtown, but the rest of St. Paul is like always on the side. And I'm very, very happy we finally have an organization who can represent us because I think it's needed. And I'm here, Andy, for anything you guys need. I'm super busy, but I always try to make time for work. It's worth it. So yes.
Thank you. Monica Bravo, for those of you who don't know me, I am the executive director of the West Side Community Organization, the district planning council of the area. Thank you everyone for coming too. I'm excited that women owners out here, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks. Luis Mendoza from the Minnesota Consortium of Community Developers. We're an organization that we provide technical assistance, loans, small business loans to businesses. And I'm here because we want to support, the organization and the business in this area. And I'm in charge of the Ramsey County. So this is my territory. So if you need anything, business owners, you can contact me. That's my business cards to you.
Thank you.
Well, it's so good to be with all of you. We appreciate you letting us visit. I'm Electricia Busquet. I'm also with the Minnesota Consortium of Community Developers. And, our organization is involved in a lot of things. In addition to what Luis shared, we also do policy and advocacy work. So just like the representative was sharing, that her office is a resource and a conduit, we can help elevate your voices. We work with small business owners and our consortium members to set a policy agenda that helps kind of elevate what small businesses kind of across Minnesota need, like what they really need. And how we can make sure that the sum of what comes down in those decisions is kind of greater than its parts in terms of impact. One of the other things that you should know about NECOCP is that are a responsive organization. We host workshops and kind of topical conversations on issues that we're hearing from owners as they're navigating different challenges. But next month, for example, we'll be doing a conversation that is webinar in format, so you can kind of listen in. You can actually access the recording when the webinar is over if it doesn't occur at a time that works for you. That brings together some attorneys and some folks that will talk about some public safety in the context of the immigration climate right now. So good to be with you. We're happy to learn more about what's going on in this community and your businesses.
It's my first time. Yes, I don't speak English well, but I have a restaurant, Salvadorian food, in Poncho Latico. And I just wanna learn a little bit more about my business. I don't know.
Thank you for being here. What was your name?
Fatima.
Yeah.
Oh,
Where are you located?
in the corner by Cesar Chavez Street.
Oh, just
Sí.
Across from Papalegos. Oh, the former Papalegos. Yeah.
the way I check it. I think I want to go check it out.
Very good.
Thank you for being here and growing our list of businesses. My name is Mandy. I'm a Westside business owner at Fox Bay Studios. I'm also been on the West Coast board for the last 3.5 years, and seeing that businesses really needed a support and a voice on the West Side. We've been grassroots organizing for a year now, and really just coming together loosely as I know our time is limited. We've been doing it in a good way and successfully meeting quarterly now. When we first started meeting, we were just really hearing what business owners wanted and needed, and it is mainly like a funnel of communication for different organizations and a point of contact. And networking was a huge need, and just getting to know different businesses, and then meeting quarterly. So
just keeping it going and doing what we can to meet quarterly is where we're at. So thank you so much for being here and participating and keeping it going.
For spearheading. I'm Janine Pohl. I own Block Portrait Studios on Smith Avenue, and we're celebrating 10 years. And I'm gonna do some sort of celebration. If anybody wants to collaborate on that, I'd love to do so. Yes. I haven't got everything hashed out, but probably a Sunday afternoon in August, I'll do something public facing, celebrating. I'm also in need of a building engineer. I have a north side of the building, it's brick building that has a kind of joist, I think it's called, that needs a brick limestone foundation. And I have to put a support wall up, and it's a super fun way to spend, but thankfully for a neighborhood grant, I can make moves on that. So if anybody knows a building engineer, not in my creative field, so if you could do an introduction, that would be fabulous. Thank you for being here.
Feel free to utilize the email thread that we have going. It's not meant for just my communication. I would highly prefer and recommend if we all
I'll send it.
utilize that
I'll send it out.
and just really network in that way also.
Thank you.
See what happens.
Okay, my name is Keiko, my husband Alex and I own a bike shop on Smith Avenue. What to say, so we organizing a bike scavenger hunt with farmers market at the coffee shop. Okay, backstory, and we had few meetings with ladies, Kini from Backstory and Laura from West Side Farmers Market. It's been really fun, but we all busy. But we finally made a flyer. Laura was supposed to bring a copy, but she us today. So I don't have anything to share, but it's on my bike shop Instagram and also Farmers Market and Backstory Instagram. So, it's on 22nd Sunday, and I invited as we talked to, and we got a lot of prizes from the businesses on the west side. The captains can donate like 5 vouchers for frozen food. What else do we get? Vaqueros donated gift cards, Fox Studio, so then the gift cards, and I got a bunch of the brands that we sell, they donated prizes too. More, it'll be fun if you guys have anybody could donate anything, that'd be great. And also we need to fix the floors too. You guys know anybody? We also received the Star Grant 2 years ago, but I haven't still had a chance to use it.
I can help you with the flooring. before.
Oh, yes. A couple of.
You maybe, let me see.
Yeah, that would be great. That was a good idea. I never.
I'll be sure to add that information on the follow-up. I'm gonna add your correct email. We can add your email, and then we'll stay connected that way.
Yeah, thank you.
And I want to ask my team about the engineer, so.
Thank you.
and I would-
Thank
no,
you.
Great, we'll get Judge contact too.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
I'll go last. I'm Julia. I'm the communications coordinator at Wesco. Yeah, I'm just here to support. I might take some pictures. I also brought some flyers. I'm actually gonna pass this around right now that talking. There will be a forum on July 16th for local businesses to learn more about the Roberts Street construction. So just put this on your calendar. You can learn from other businesses in the Twin Cities who've experienced major disruption from construction. So
That's in the evenings.
today, right?
No, Wednesday.
Yeah.
July.
Bye.
This is how good I am with my calendar. I'm glad I'm here today. I'm Nancy. I own Get Street, a Salvadoran food truck. And, we have, we've been, this is our 6th year, we'll celebrate 7 years in September. And we get to go and share kind of, we've been in West Center for a long time. My husband's been in West Center since he was little. And so we get to go out and share kind of the best parts of it to the rest of the community with being a food truck, right? Being out and about. But I think since Mandy started this, I was like, I would be willing to do more and more things here on the West Side because this is our home and our neighborhood. And so try to be more active and present and showing up is always really important. So that is why we're here. So.
Where is your food truck?
Right, it was at the Capitol today. Yeah, we go really every day. We'll be we were supposed to be at Lower Town Sounds tonight, but they canceled it. And then we'll be at the Minnesota Zoo tomorrow night and then Wandering Lake.
Do you have like a website?
Yeah, a website, yeah, on the website there. So we're really, because obviously this is our busiest time, so we got canceled of that. But it's nice to always, Elizabeth does a really good job and Mandy does rallying the troops. I know, she's like, I don't want to do it myself. But a good job. So yeah, like I said, I will, as we think of next steps too, the West Side is kind of where we're gonna think of.
Thanks, Nancy. And right here, yeah.
Oh, introductions.
Okay, yeah. Hi, my name is Desia and I have a chocana right here. There's like my mother. Yeah, so just got a flyer yesterday.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Food truck?
No, it's yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
good.
a ice cream shop.
You gotta make a round.
Yeah.
Yeah, make the rounds.
Okay, cool. And then Miguel, just real quick, your name, who you are.
Yeah, my name is Miguel Brito. Lived on the West Side my whole life, still live here. I'm the organizer and training at Westville right now. Oh, nice to meet you all.
Cool. And then we do have one participant online. I'm not sure if it's been easy to hear us. I'm sorry, our tech might not be great, but if you'd like to introduce yourself to the group, and then we'll get rolling here.
Hi, I can hear you really well. Thanks for meeting today. My name is Susan Brown. I'm working at my business, which is called Mademoiselle Miel. We're a chocolate beekeeping menagerie located at the bottom of Ohio Street. We used to be up on the hill by the cathedral for 13 years, and we moved over here last year and opened in November. And we don't have a sign, but eventually we'll have one. The last one I had got damaged in some wind, and I haven't been able to replace it because things like the air conditioning all of a sudden need to be repaired and stuff like that. But I'm the sole owner. We sell here and produce here. We also sell at the downtown farmers market on Saturday and Sunday. And I would like to be more connected to the community, which I really feel excited to be part of. Since I moved over here, I feel like the residents of the community, with the exception of maybe one, has been amazing.
There's always one.
There's always
There's
the one. And yeah, I'm just looking for how do we connect? You know, is it? I'm learning from even just your introductions, ways to be connected and supporting for each other, because I do think that we need that as small businesses in order to be abundant. I think we can kind of just do it to get by, but in order to really flourish and to help our community flourish, we need each other.
Cool. Well, thank you. That was a great way to segue. Okay. Oh, we have one more person coming in, but we are just gonna do that real quick here. All right. Pues hoy la presentación va a ser en inglés, pero lo puedo hacer también en español y lo podemos record, no sé cómo se dice en español.
Grabar.
¿Cómo se dice?
Grabar.
Grabar.
así que pueden aprender el programa en una manera mejor que en inglés. Yo soy de Italia y hablo un poquito de español, pues.
No, I think I speak Italian.
You speak Italian? Hey, all right. And then real quick before we get going, Nancy, we see you. Would you like to introduce yourself very briefly and who you're representing today?
Yeah, so I'm Nancy. I work at Westside Hair Care, so I pretty much represent, well, I mean, the salon and all of the independent artists that work in the salon and kind of the little downward community over there off of, what is that, Cesar Chavez and Congress, I think we're on. So in case you haven't been there, that's where I'm from.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you, Nancy. Okay, with that said, we are going to get rolling on this presentation, and it's really, I don't have a ton of slides, and definitely let's just like keep the conversation moving. If I don't stop me if you have something you want to say. So, you may have heard of this or you may have not, but the city of St. Paul is launching a new program. It doesn't exist or it hasn't existed before, and it's called the Commercial Corridor Organization Assistance Program. C-co-op for short. So that's how we gonna refer to it, or the program. And essentially what the city did is they've allocated, I think it's a total of like 1.4 million across 18 different organizations around St. Paul. And they selected corridors that are eligible to get some of these funds. So my purpose today is to tell you about what corridors were selected for West Side, talk about what ways we can spend the money, because we can't just spend it however. They have some, ways they want to see it spent. And then obviously want to hear from you. I've already heard some things, even in our introductions, about what things you might want to see us spend the money on. And we have some ideas for you to react to as well. So we're not coming in cold. So first things first, these are the ways the money can be used. So one, corridor-wide beautification efforts, meaning things like signage. So we heard that maybe signage could be helpful. Flower baskets, planters on the corridor, right? Public art installation is also an option. Development of plans for further implementation. So this would be more probably internal to probably Wesco, who is going to be receiving the money to plan for what could be done on a corridor. Marketing campaigns, acquisition of vacant or underutilized buildings and land. Basically putting on community events and business subgrants, which could include sort of interior and exterior capital improvements. So I heard someone needs a new floor, right? So things like that, working and operating capital for businesses, and additional beautification efforts, which would essentially kind of mirror the first point, except that this would be, you would receive the money and you would have to manage that whole process. Whereas in the first case, Wesco would probably administer that more broadly for the corridor and not just for a business, right?
Are we translating or is it at the end? Are you gonna send it translated?
Pues I can try. Okay. Voy a intentar.
A lot of people here can help you to translate.
Okay, pues voy a intentar. Estos fondos se pueden utilizar en estas maneras, ¿no? Uno, como actividades para hacer signs, ¿cómo se dice signs?
Letreros,
okay.
El nombre del negocio, letrero, flores, plantas.
Okay, so y'all could be doing this, but you gonna make me. Okay, that's cool.
The collective effort.
The collective effort. También por arte pública, como murales, algo así. El desarrollo de planes por el corredor. Y campañas de marketing, como social media, posters, eso. comprar como
Tierras o
edificios, hacer eventos como el 5 de mayo, por ejemplo, o algo así. Y también la oportunidad por fondos directamente al business para hacer lo que necesitan. Puede ser por, no sé, para...
Operaciones, nómina.
yeah, okay. Pues, sí. All right. Am I getting a grade after this? Okay. Okay. So these are the West Side core. So I acknowledge that not all of y'all are gonna be represented here. And so this is definitely a conversation that we still want your voice in, even if it may not unfortunately maybe benefit you directly, but I think perhaps all of y'all actually are maybe close here, so.
There's ways that we can loop it in.
Yeah, and there are ways with the city that they said, even if the business isn't like on the street, like on Smith, but a little off, there may be ways we can still do that. So Smith Avenue from the High Bridge to Annapolis was allocated $74,000 total. And then we have, I don't know why they lumped them together, but in theory, these are two corridors in a way. So there's Cesar Chavez from Wabasha to Ada, and Robert Street from Wood to Cesar Chavez. Okay, so this one is 81,500, which then again, within that would be split in a way, which is awkward. So I don't know why. And then I want to be very upfront that Wesco is going to receive the funds and then administer the funds. And so there is a 10% administration fee that Wesco will take for its staff time and managing the program, meaning that's about 15,000-ish of the money. Pues esos son las áreas geográficas donde va a poner los fondos. Y aquí tenemos Smith y tenemos 74,000. Y aquí Cesar Chavez Robert Street. 81 y 5,000. 500. Okay. All right. Okay. So we're offering up maybe some values or approaches to think about our conversation and our brainstorming about how we could use the money. So clearly there's not enough money to do everything we want to do. So I think
Funds.
¿Cómo?
Just realistically, we know this is very little money.
Yeah, we know it's not a lot of money. So one is, I think it makes sense to think about investing in activities or efforts that have long-term impact, right? That can live beyond the 12-month grant term. So we have 12 months to spend this money. Also to be strategic about how we might leverage, right, this limited amount of money that we have. And Wesco's already thinking about what other money we could pull in to help make the budget larger and already have some grants. Hopefully we'll get to do that. And also thinking about how we invest in activities that are actually inclusive. And so it lifts up the kind of the unity theme of the West Side Businesses Unite Coalition, right? And then of course, every corridor is very different. And so also thinking about what we need to submit to the city does not have to be one strategy. We could say for Smith, we want to do this, this, this. For the other corridors, we want to do this, this, this. So we can customize, which makes sense based on what's happening in the corridor. Is there anything else y'all think should be something just kind of bigger picture that we should be thinking about when we're thinking about how to use the money? I just want to add that in like partnership, we and Coco and Monica met and talked through all like the possible scenarios as not all businesses are included and businesses need have different needs, or the corridors have different needs. So also it's not that much money, but this is potentially a yearly opportunity as well. So that kind of adds to the decision making, that it's not just one and done, like how can we come together and build and support the businesses in the community that needs it, and the steps, knowing that we could have this opportunity again next year.
Okay. So I really do it in Spanish now. Okay, para hacer decisiones de cómo vamos a utilizar los fondos, tenemos como algunos principios que queríamos ofrecer para hacer esas decisiones, ¿no? Uno es de hacer actividades por mucho tiempo, que van a verificar la comunidad por mucho tiempo, ¿no? Segundo, que no hay mucho dinero, pues tenemos que tener estrategia para cómo utilizarlo para tener mucho impacto. También que por qué no tenemos mucho dinero, queremos invertir en actividades que son inclusivas de muchos businesses y no de como uno o dos businesses que van a beneficiar, pero los otros no. Y el último es de pensar en los corridors como una geografía como unique, ¿cómo se dice? Único, y que tiene necesidades diferentes. Robert Street tiene necesidades que son diferentes de Smith. Via discorrendo. That was Italian. Okay. So, a few things that Mandy actually just brought up before we get into it is, one, this is a pilot. So it's never been done before, meaning that this program is probably going to be offered again. But what we need to do is we need to show results. We need to show that we were able to create success. And one way to also think about this year is to build on activities later. And then this plan is due June 30th.
Damn it.
I know. So thank you for meeting today. And if you know people who need to have their voices heard, we need to figure that out like quickly, too. But yeah, the plan is due on the 30th. I'll be writing it. So if you need to get in touch, let's do that. And then I just want to say, before we jump into some of the options, we just can't do everything, right? Obviously. So, algunos detalles importantes son que eso es un nuevo programa y puede ser que lo van a repetir anualmente. Y pues por nosotros tenemos que demostrar como un buen impacto en la comunidad y también podemos seleccionar como actividades ahorita que se pueden desarrollar después también. Y ese plan tiene que ser completo entre el 30 de junio. Antes, pues that's the deadline. Okay, lo tenemos que give to the city. Pues no tenemos mucho tiempo para seleccionar las estrategias y no podemos hacer todo, pues.
This is just the plan though, right? Like it's not like this, you're just giving like an outline of where that money is gonna go, right?
So yeah,
Or it
basically.
has to be like, it's going to like set business.
Well,
Oh, shit.
no. We could say, for example, that in our plan, we're gonna use 50,000 of the Smith money to do community events throughout spring and summer 2026. We don't have to tell them what event, who's leading it, or we could say we want to spend 50,000 across all strategies for micro grants for small businesses. We don't have to tell them who's getting it yet.
Got it, okay, cause I
Yeah.
was like, wow, 30.
No,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
We just generally speaking, what do we want to use it for, basically? Pues el plan que tenemos que dar a la ciudad no tiene que estar muy específico. Es solo como las estrategias generales, pero tiene que tener un budget. Eso sí, tiene que ser específico. So we can't say
10,000 for marketing, and then we spent 40,000 for marketing. Eso no. Okay, so these are some brainstorms we had, and again, not set in stone. So if you don't like it, we don't do it, okay? So corridor marketing campaign and art installation could be an interesting way to use funds. And so as an example, y'all already started creating a directory of the businesses, right? And and you're building it, and the website has just a few of you on there now, but should have more of you on there. So one idea we kind of talked about, Mandy, Monica, and I wanted to talk to you about is a digital interactive map that would be on the website that you could actually click on and get to your businesses. And it could also, according to some experts in the room, it could also have some search filter options where you could say, I only want to search for food, or I only want to search for retail, or hey, it's, Black History Month. I only want to search Black-owned businesses, so I know how to like spend my money with my values. So that's one idea. We believe that actually this interactive map would not take a lot of money to do. $5,000, some of the plugins, like the technology is already built. We just have to buy it. And then most of the labor will be in inputting data, maintaining data, and making sure it's accurate. So that would be a low cost, but a cool way that could have that long-term impact. One idea. And could benefit everybody, because we would focus these funds on the corridors, but then Wesco could throw in some cash to do it for all of the west side. And so we could just have a really nice kind of centralized point to get what we want, right? Pues la primera idea es una mapa digitale, okay, digital, para encontrar a los businesses entre toda la west side. Y no va a costar mucho eso. Second idea is then to actually do a more artistic graphic. This is an example from the Detroit neighborhood, the Cass neighborhood. And it's literally a printed pamphlet, and it's almost like what you would find when you go to a museum or like a visitor thing. It's more of like a tourist, like somebody who's coming to visit the west side. What we would do is we would produce them for corridors specifically. And we would do a major mailer across all of the west side, and maybe even beyond the west side to draw more business in. So we would pay for that. Wesco just did the mailer for Alebrijes, and it cost $6,000 to do that mailer. That's why the number is high. The number is 20K also because we have to commission artists to do the graphics and the printing.
Also, we have a lot of businesses in the west side we can help to print, to do.
Absolutely.
Like, we have a lot of people with knowledge about that. So if we put our work, we don't need to use those funds for that. So we can kind of.
That's true. That's true.
Do you guys know, or you guys have in the list, the printing company, Concord?
Yeah.
They have great prices.
Yeah, and so then we can reinvest in our businesses. Yeah.
Is there a way to coordinate some sort of offer from the businesses that we can then use that specifically to track what traffic comes in? I'm thinking like when I do something, if I'm gonna do a percentage off or a dollar amount off, I have like, West Side business or something that I know that referral came from that marketing thing.
Okay, like a tracking mechanism.
So as a business, I can track when I put energy into things where it comes from. Is there some sort of like coupon booklet that could go with that, or something for getting people through the door?
Yeah.
Are you talking about the maps in the website, or?
Well, both. If there's an offer on the website.
In the website, it's easier. You could put that when.
But there's a lot of people that don't necessarily use the digital media that we could make offers to in the same capacity.
Maybe like a passport.
That's
like a passport for the entire corridor. So all the businesses are there. We can offer coupons. We can offer something. So that is a way you can kind of know how many people is coming from that to your business.
So I don't know if it's a flyer, or a flyer that has like a little.
I got you.
Yeah, yeah, cool. We have a comment online.
Yeah, thank you. I just have a question on the first proposal of the use of those funds. It was that digital thing. Is there any information about how many hits that gets or how valuable that is in terms of response from the public? Or is that how people are finding businesses? Do you have any information about that? In other words, like, what's the value of that investment?
Google Ads.
Yeah, we don't know because it doesn't exist necessarily. I mean, I can just, from my perspective, like that's how I find businesses is online. Personally.
Right, but do you use it through, I mean, we're talking about creating, or you're talking about creating a specific site that then people would have to find, you know, there's a little work to get to it. And I just wonder, you know, like, do they just go right to Google and don't go any farther than that to access it? I just wonder if there's any backup material, not necessarily, you know, from one that doesn't exist, but from one that is existing in another community perhaps, that would give us some insight into the use of that, the value of that particular idea. Because whatever it is, we want some return on that investment, obviously,
So
as businesses.
I had a business at Midtown Global Market for 4 years. And Midtown Global Market implement in 2021 a website called, it was from Midtown Global Market, but they implement something with all the information of the businesses. And also the idea of this was so you can go to just one site and buy online everything from Midtown without going to Midtown Global Market. So actually that had a great impact because the parking situation and stuff over there was very complicated.
Yeah.
Actually, that website helped a lot the people to be like easier to know where the businesses were located and to order online, not just for restaurants, but for like art shops and any type of, or actually booking like in a salon, like a haircut or whatever.
Yeah.
A lot for us in that, like in 2021. So this is not exactly the same, but the only example like.
Because I think the goal, right, is to make the website like a destination, right? You're coming here to make a destination, right? When your people are Googling it, you're making this, hey, I'm gonna go to the West Side, right? So it's gonna be what, like right now, if you Google the West Side, right? West Coast probably gonna be the only that's really gonna come up, right? If that, right? So it's like, if we're trying to make it a destination, I think having a landing page when you Google the West Side, be this, I think is a great, you know, a great launching pad for what we're trying to do and what we're trying to do here on the West Side, right?
I think that's a great point. I don't think we should be completely closed off to the possibility of having some sort of like e-commerce
Digital
involved
marketplace.
with that website.
Yeah.
Not just a directory.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That would increase budget. But I love that.
Also, one thing that, sorry.
No, I can't
Go ahead.
go there.
And then there's someone online asking, I also think that if we have it, it can be improved upon, but also, tour St. Paul or visit St. Paul, like we can then go to them and say, market this, promote this when on your site or visit St. Paul, because this neighborhood now has an identity with a plan.
We can have QR codes in all our businesses. I mean, between all of us, we can contribute to market, to everything.
And talk about tracking. Oh, so sorry. No, I was just going to add that like with this budget, we would incorporate like marketing for the website. So whether that's creating signage for all businesses with QR codes that everyone can put up, or CEO, optimizing that, so.
In terms of tracking, so the association, Food Truck Association, what we do is that somebody goes there and everybody that's from the association will get the same email of like referrals, right? And so you can track, I can track how many referrals I get just from the landing page of the association, right? So it could be the same thing, right? You're getting all of these hits and responses from this West Side page going to, you know, to Kresge's, right? Like, you know, it's coming directly from that. How we utilize it on our end is how we choose, but at least we know it's coming from this page, right? Like, you're getting all of these referrals or all of these hits are coming from this page, which I think that you can track.
Yeah, the technology is very advanced in how to track everything. And we can start the first year with something and then we decide what works, what doesn't work, and then we can update the website or whatever we need for next year. I mean, if
Absolutely.
it's something we're going to prove it's working,
Exactly.
we can kind of.
Could we add artists to this page too? I think the West Side has a huge, like a big artist community, and I think having them market themselves as alongside like the businesses, I think would also.
Independent business.
Yeah, exactly. They are their own business, but I think adding artists would be a great way, because there's so many here.
Yeah.
I think highlighting them would be really important.
And that is awesome when you want to make a place a destination.
Yeah,
Because you need you need music, you need art, you need stores, you need
Yeah.
boutiques, you need restaurants, you need everything.
Okay.
Leaders in the.
We have a hand up online. I want to make sure we make this a hybrid meeting that's working. So Nancy, what's going on?
My name is Susan Brown, first of all.
Nancy,
And-
wait, I'm sorry. Nancy has her hand up real quick.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, my bad. No, if you haven't introduced yourself, go ahead. I was just gonna say, I really like the interactive map. I've been on one of those for wedding guides, and they can tell me how many people looked at my website, how many purchases were made through my website. So the interactive map, I really do like, you guys, because kids use that a lot. We could advertise on TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, Google. That's gonna be a really good one. But I hate those little street signs that's next to that interactive map. Those are too little and nobody ever notices they're there. Okay, but go ahead and introduce yourself. Sorry.
No, I just misunderstood the comments, the whatever. But my question was, when you said that, and I apologize for asking this question already, but when you said that the West Side is a destination, you know, people are coming here as a destination, what are the kind of the key words? Like, why are they coming here? What makes this a destination place in St. Paul? What are the words that make people want to come here?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's already a lot of richness around like your question. I think that there's a lot of like growing energy, like that the Latino Museum is also bringing to the stage. But I'll let y'all speak on that because you're West Siders, so.
Well, I'll just say that we are looking, as a planning council, we are looking to assert this area geographically as a as a cultural destination area, because we're rich in cultural assets and art. And so amplifying that with our food, history, and culture. And that's another project that could be worked on, is the actual branding and wording of that.
Right, which we're gonna get into. Maybe I'll move
And
on.
I think we already have a lot already, you guys. You gotta remember, historically, it's been a Latin community. We have a nationally registered park next to us. We got a lot of great spots to see down by the river. You have the housing boat. There's lots of Airbnbs in this community that small businesses operate. There's a lot of down here. There's a lot of food historically. Boca Chica people always know. El Burrito. We have a lot of historic Latino community history here, and indigenous.
Yeah, cool. Well, so we're gonna move on just because there's a few other ideas, and I love the conversation. I feel like I'm getting good direction from y'all. So what I'm hearing before we move on is that we like the idea of the digital interactive map. It's a good starting point. Maybe we also explore, once we back up the numbers, because we need to make the numbers work, what would it look like to add some kind of e-commerce digital marketplace? Let's include our artist brothers and sisters in the mix, because they're also entrepreneurs. So I'm hearing that. Am I hearing any strong for or against on this idea here? I don't have like attachment to it, but do we like the idea of these kind of more
I like
graphic?
that idea, and because we would be a part of leading the way in this area as we're establishing our identity.
Because it's true, not a lot of people use, and we have a lot of old people in this side too, so they are not going through social media a lot. So I think that if all of us, we have it in our businesses, and we are able to give to people just to make the word, go, I think, and those signs on the lamp,
Let's talk about
that we need that.
Yeah.
We don't have
I
signs
agree with
in
you.
West
I
Side.
really like the
The
flag.
signage in West Side is horrible.
Like this.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
never has any decorations on it.
Nothing.
All right, let's talk about
Pretty.
flags then, because this is
I have
a,
one more thing to add.
Okay.
Because of such a significant setup cost for the digital map and the printed versions of the map. It'd be great to know like maintenance ongoing, so it serves us past this one.
Oh,
time,
for
so we have a
sure.
Better understanding of what that like past.
For
this
sure.
Initial thing is.
absolutely noted. Okay, so let's talk about corridor branding real quick. So corridor branding could be as big or as like little as you want it to be. I just want to say that real quick. So in theory, and I know I might be stepping into some waters and I'm not, I'm new. So take it as like, I don't know things. But in theory, right, Cesar Chavez, for example, is part of District del Sol, right, historically. Now, the district is larger than the corridor. That's two different things. And also, I believe the trademark is actually expired. So there's discussion that should probably happen there. But Cesar Chavez also, it's kind of like, has a, like to me at least, when I go up and down Cesar Chavez, there's a very clear, like there's lots of food. There's lots of, right? And so it's kind of like Nicholas Eat Street, right? So, and then Smith is very diverse in terms of the types of businesses on that full corridor. And Robert Street, in a way, is going through some major changes, which we're going to need to talk about here in a minute. And we definitely have some thoughts around it. Robert Street has some businesses, like, and a lot of the conversation is about what will come to Robert Street too, right? So the identity seems to be more information on Robert Street from, like, again, my external perspective. I don't know if that resonates with folks, but so again, all that to say is that branding could be as big as we want to go through some sessions to decide what do we want to brand these corridors, like the North Loop and the like Eat Street, whatever. Or we say, let's maybe not tackle that right off the bat because that would be more so money for planning, because we'd have to find consultants who do branding. It would be a whole thing. We can. And we go with some of these lamppost flags that have a more general message, like welcome to the West Side, or whatever y'all want it to be. And it could be both, but installing flags is extremely expensive. Working with the city on this is very difficult. I've tried to do that in a different neighborhood also, and you've done it before. So it's worthy of being done. It should be done. It will eat a lot of resources. So I want to say.
Also has me.
Correct.
So we would go with something, let's theoretically,
Yep.
we would go with something generic and then we would still have to go through and then redo them again.
So it's
Eventually.
Yeah, okay.
But here's something this is gonna get real in the weeds about these flags. But when you're doing flags, first there's the cost of the brackets, which you pay. The city does not pay for that. And that's permanent. So that investment would stay, obviously, and then the flags get switched out. So that wouldn't be a complete waste of cash, but then the flags, yes, eventually would have to
But
be
the
reprinted.
money is in the bracket, right? Is your
The bracket is very expensive.
Okay.
The flag is more so, it has to do with like who designs it, and so paying for the designer of it. And then of course, are you getting permanent flags or non-permanent flags? Then the cost changes. And also then the amount of time they can stay up changes.
7 to 10 years they have to stay.
Oh, they have to stay.
Yeah,
Oh, we can't change them.
you can.
The-
in 7
Sorry,
to 10
sorry.
years
Oh.
But that's for the permanent.
for the permanent ones.
Oh, okay. But we can get them, yeah.
They might have a couple more years left.
Okay. But we can get non-permanent, right?
I mean, there are the ones that are more cloth, like they're different materials basically. And yes, you could do that. And then I want to say, actually, I'm not going to say because I feel like I'm going to be lying, but I don't remember what the shelf life for those are. So let's do a quick, like, vibe check on like corridor branding in general.
But you have a couple more ideas to float, right?
I do. So maybe do we want to look at those first? Okay.
If I can say something,
Yeah.
before I have time, I'm a board member of the Rise and Lavender Alliance as well. And they did their branding, and we started, well, in 2018, we started, in 2019, that's when I started doing everything, from those type of banners as well. And it has been very successful. The crime went down, sales in businesses, increased. But it was just perfect what they did. It was a 5 years plan. Well, no, it's longer than that, but it's been very successful in what they did. They rebrand everything. Logos.
Somebody there can help us.
Well, you can, maybe Monica can contact Kim. Do you know Kim O'Brien, Monica?
Name is familiar.
From the St. Paul Chamber.
Oh.
But I can just send you her email. Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone, sorry, we're a little late.
Yeah, I can contact Monica.
Since we have a few that just came in,
Yeah.
are we able to, I can do it, just a quick recap of where we're at in the.
We have a website, but well,
Okay, the quick recap, we do need to move on, but the quick recap is there's a city program that is being launched. There's money involved. We have to submit a plan by June 30th, and we're soliciting feedback from all of you because it is for small business support and like commercial corridors. And we're trying to gather some ideas for how y'all think the money should be used. So we just wrapped up talking about kind of marketing. We like the idea of a digital interactive map. We like the idea maybe of notched down, but we like the idea of the printed maps too. And now we're discussing corridor branding strategies.
And thank you for being here. Make sure you connect with me or that you're on the email list because we will send a recap of everything.
And this is being recorded too, so you can re-listen to the whole conversation. Okay, so maybe, yeah, let me provide all the ideas and then we'll back up and decide what we want to do. Okay, pues, en español, very quick. Una idea es de hacer una campaña de marketing por the corridors. ¿Cómo se dice corridor?
Corridor.
Corridor. Ok. Y zona comercial, no sé. Por la calle, ok. Pues una idea es una mapa digital, una otra idea es una mapa como física, pero que es más artística, más por visitors, turistas, visitantes, ok. Y también hay una idea de hacer como una banderas que están de un tema por el corredor, que puede ser como Eat Street o no sé, lo que sea. Lake Street. Pero eso lo tenemos que idear porque no tenemos una identidad por los corredores. Como Smith no tiene una identidad única. Hay muchos tipos de businesses.
¿El Distrito del Sol abarca todos los corredores o nada más esta sección?
Solo César Chávez.
Solo César Chávez.
Porque
es bonito.
Okay. Yeah. Aquí estamos. Okay. So next, community events, right? It's definitely activation. It brings business. It attracts, it creates the destination vibe that we've been talking about. Now, we could ramp up to West Side Small Business Saturday type of events that would also loop in the passport concept, those types of things. So those two things could be packaged. There was an idea that was brainstormed about like, let's shut down the Smith Avenue Bridge and do a vendor market.
Awesome.
And then everybody could show up, but we would just shut it down maybe.
I
don't know, but why not?
Really? 20 plus years ago, they used to do from the Annapolis all the way down to the end of the highway.
Like Grand Avenue, yeah. Like Grand Avenue.
Yeah, Grand Old Days.
More people there at the Grand Old Day than in the last 3 years.
Yeah. It's kind of like the concept of open streets that they do in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And just let you know, the city is making everybody to pay police officers for those events, so
Yeah.
that will never be part of that money, that will need like a extra.
We would
cost
need
for
extra
that.
costs, yeah. And then, also just pop-up block parties, that could just be smaller nodes, because like shutting down a whole Smith Avenue could be a lot of coordination and would eat up a lot of the resources. So, en español, real quick, también podemos usar los fondos para eventos, ¿no? Y hay algunas ideas de hacer Small Business Saturday, o un nuevo evento sobre Smith Bridge y hacer como un mercado, no sé, como block parties, no sé cómo se dice. Pero eso es.
Festivals, ¿no?
Ya. Y pues el costo de eso puede ser como mínimo como $10,000 si hacemos solo como the Small Business Saturday, o podría ser 50 o más, porque esos eventos costan mucho cuando piensas a permits, food, like vendors, if you don't want to make them pay, si no quieren hacer pagar los vendedores, hay costos por eso, ¿no?
So when you do a black party, is you are involving
The business.
vendors and
Yes.
and they will pay a fee for the space or whatever, right? So it's going to be a profit in it. Or
Maybe,
not.
but it could maybe go into
Maybe
the
yes,
west.
maybe no, because I'm kind of thinking, I mean, culturally, the west side is very important. And adding more culture or like a little black parties, like you mentioned, will attract a lot of people. Like I'm thinking, for example, I'm always thinking in Mexican independence, why is never celebrate in Mexico is a big thing. Cinco de Mayo, we don't even know. We don't even know about Cinco de Mayo.
That was Corona.
So for example, if you want to start in a small thing and see how it goes, and then next time you can create a huge, big festival like the Cinco de Mayo similar by doing, for example, Mexican independence gala night, you know, and people can come and show the Mexican dresses and all those kind of things. That would be something that you can do small. I mean, we have a very good location down here to do something big, sell the tickets for only certain amount of people, and start from there for next year, how big you wanna do it next year. You know, I mean, I'm thinking that would be one thing that people is asking me so many times, why don't you celebrate the Mexican independence?
This
Yeah.
year, they're gonna do it. They're doing it this year.
Good.
Is this the boosters?
Yeah,
Where?
here, on the west side.
I
There'll
will
be
be
coming
sure
more
to
information,
connect.
more, we'll share the information.
Make sure
Good.
you're on the email list, and if you're not, let me get your email
Yeah.
before we go.
Okay.
And we
We do
can
have
build
this
up-
room
we can
until
build up.
3:30.
Yeah, we gotta move on. So, community events are an option. They're an option. Okay, next, and this is the last one that I felt we have to talk about because it's important, is business subgrants. And for this one, I think I wanna just say what's some considerations are that if we do this, Wesco will still need to create a competitive process, because we do not have enough money to give every business on every corridor a grant. So that also means the money will hit later on in the 12-month period, etc. The other thing is that as business owners, it's gonna be on you to create your application, submit the application, submit reports back to Wesco to tell us how you use, which we have to submit to the city to know that you use the money in the way you said you would. So that I will say I'm just being honest with that. And then, you know, for micro grants, usually they don't tend to be more than $5,000. So maybe the minimum would be 1,000, the maximum 5,000. And so if we use this as the only strategy that we employ, Smith would get 13 grants at 5K, Robert Street 7, Cesar Chavez 7 at 5K. Now we could mix it up 3K, 2K, but the money wouldn't stretch very far. So I did want to throw it out because it is the most direct way you get cash in your pockets. But I don't recommend this strategy. The only exception I would say is for Robert Street because of the construction. Those businesses are gonna have major impacts starting in 2026. And so I can see why Robert Street would want to, because there are not currently any plans for mitigation, for small business mitigation grants that are being discussed. There's not right now for that?
Not yet.
There's no money right now, and so this is a big issue that we're fighting. But there is something there that I want us to hold for our Robert Street businesses.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you know how construction will just like shut you down.
You guys know from where to where is going to be the construction?
No,
Water Street all the way to Annapolis.
the whole thing.
The whole- And so on July 16th, we're gonna have a big meeting about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
July 16th. So one strategy that I might suggest is that if you're comfortable
Robert Street.
with just Robert Street, a strategy specific for Robert Street that suggests some small business grants that we could do that, and then the remaining money we would use for all the other ideas that were put out. So, but that's your decision, you need to decide.
Why so many grants
For Smith?
Avenue?
Because there's more money allocated to Smith. Smith has 74,000.
I don't know how
It's
many
the
businesses. are
other
on
way
Smith Avenue.
around, isn't it?
Not because they put
Because yeah,
corridors.
the other
into two, Robert,
it's either Travis.
I don't know.
No,
what rate those. Okay, online. Sorry.
my concern for the businesses on Robert Street, we're probably like a third of businesses compared to Smith.
Yeah.
So, and then I even got to count on the business owner, the building owner to apply for this grant. Because I'm an independent employee, so I don't think I qualify to apply for this from what I'm hearing.
I
But,
might be, well, we'll need to check on that, Nancy.
well, that's usually typically how it happens.
Okay.
So my concern is on Robert Street, we have what? West Side Shop, we have A1 Tattoo, the tax people, Michael's Pizza, Bread Company, and I don't think how many of them have attended our meetings. And now Tom doesn't even own the barber shop anymore.
We got some folks in the room that came in, Nancy, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So what, I guess, what are you?
I feel like we have smaller numbers and smaller voices down on Robert Street. I mean, we got to hope these people apply for these grants.
Well, I think this is why we're gathered today and why Coco's here is so the business owners can decide, because Westco could take this money and
Do whatever.
do whatever they wanted for the businesses, but Westco doesn't want to do that. What the West Side Business Coalition can't do it because we're not a registered 501c3 to receive the money. So Westco is receiving the money and Westco can do whatever they want with it, but Westco doesn't want to do that. So we are here today to decide. It sounds like we could probably vote on micro grants or not. And then we move towards, what to do.
Right.
We should push the city to do something for those
I know.
businesses too.
Oh, we
Like
will.
that is something we need to do, because
Yes,
if not,
We will, yeah.
Yeah.
In July, just the whole July 16th for the Robert Street forum that's coming up.
Yeah. So we have 30 minutes left for our session, and I don't know if there's more on the agenda we're trying to cover. But so now you've seen all of the possible strategies. Obviously, there were other uses for the funds I didn't provide a recommendation for. Beautification efforts, those like buying buildings. This is not enough money, in my opinion, to buy any buildings and have an impact. Like, we need to do that. We need to have a strategy, but this ain't it right now. So I guess taking a step back, then, okay. Antes de eso, lo voy a decir en español. Pues hay la posibilidad de usar los fondos directamente por los business, pero es que no hay mucho dinero para hacer eso y el impacto es limitado por 13 businesses de Smith, 7 y 7 a Robert Street y César Chávez. Pues no me parece que es una manera para utilizar los fondos que va a tener mucho impacto. Pero se puede hacer y tenemos que pensar a los businesses de Robert Street, porque ellos van a tener un proyecto de construcción que va a estar de 2026 a 2030. Paso a paso, pues no es todo el tiempo, pero va a tener mucho impacto. Y eso podría ser una estrategia solo por Robert Street. Pero también sabemos que la ciudad, el county, el departamento de transportación tiene que trobar fondos para esa estrategia también. No tendría que ser nuestra responsabilidad. Pero también no hay dinero ahorita. Pues tenemos que decidir si queremos aprobar una estrategia solo por Robert Street o no, y vamos a advocar, luchar con la ciudad y eso para obtener otros fondos. So, ahorita, why are you laughing at me? Okay. Okay, so basically last thing is discussion and feedback. We have some time. So what's sticking, what don't we like? And then are there specific things per corridor you want to lift up we should be thinking about? Because again, we can submit different strategies per corridor too. So that's it. So now I'm taking notes from y'all.
Thank you, Coco.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much.
This is my opinion in being one of the organizers of the West Side Business Coalition for the last year, and the intention is just to unite and come together, and together we're stronger, and together we can stand up for the needs of our communities and as business owners. I know personally, my name's Mandy, for those of you who weren't here at the very beginning. I'm the owner at Fox Face Studios. We've been there for 8 years, and it is no small job being a business owner. It takes tremendous risk and courage and resilience. And if we don't stand together and share stories and resources, it's important for us to be here in our communities, because small business owners are the heart of the community. And I hope that with this opportunity, we can keep in mind of deciding what to do with the money together and building our community stronger, because not all the businesses are included in the corridor. So if my opinion would be to do some sort of block party community event, some signage that benefits all of the West Side as a destination area, because we are the only St. Paul city that is on this side of the river, and we are frequently left out of resources and grants, and we really have to make noise to be seen. So that's my opinion in the decision of how to spend the money.
I have an opinion too.
Okay, go ahead.
I agree with that idea that we should channel the money into events as a cultural hub, which is how the area is defined. That's best experienced in person. It's not something you can really do away in order to be benefited, and that benefits humanity to get us outside. All of the studies show that people are going out less and less and less because of their digital connections. So to invest in that side is kind of going against the whole value of the West Side. And if those block parties could just be blockbusters, and the West Side can be known for community cultural experiences through arts, music, food, beauty, all of the different ways that culture is valued and needed, then it has a strong foundation a solid foundation that can enable other businesses to come in and build on a real clear vision and destination, like you say. It's an investment in not just the businesses that exist, but in the future of the community as well.
Yeah, so the three pools that we're kind of like debating, right, or really is one is the digital, map, interactive map place, right? And then the flags kind of go into that. Is that like the one area? And the second area is like the block party events, and the third one is micro grants.
Correct.
Those are the three different kind of.
But we can mix and match. So we could say, as an example, we want to do, we'll do the digital map because that was like $5,000.
Yeah.
So that's we just need,
win.
that's
right?
an easy
Or
win.
Y'all seems really excited about it, I
Right,
guess.
so we can still do that.
Okay.
And then we could say we wanna host, I don't know, one block party per corridor that was selected.
Yeah.
So then that's 3 block parties.
Yep.
We kinda have to backtrack the budget to that then. Then there'll be some leftover funds, cause I don't know that we maybe spend all of that. So there's some change that we could say, all right, then with what's left, we might wanna explore corridor branding for like what the flags could look like,
Notification.
maybe for next year's budget. Or,
The
Yeah.
idea of the directory, whether it's digital or
Printed.
paper, for visitors and attaching that to tourism, I think would be really powerful.
Yeah, I think that's, but I think it has to be both. It can be.
yeah.
Right, like I
I
don't think you
think
can
so.
have a people without having a digital,
Right.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I think if we have the maps, digital and paper, but
Yeah.
we don't have a good signage in
Yeah.
the streets and
Yeah.
people don't know where to go, it's
Yeah.
not going to work either.
But I do like the idea now that you said the block of the 3 different block parties, because then I think it combines the 3 different areas that really make the West Side, right? With like, including Smith Avenue along with it, and like the businesses that kind of, branch out from that area, and then the 2 other corridors, so I think that would be, I think an interesting way to spend the.
One thing I just want to throw out there, for those who weren't here way at the beginning, is like the issue of safety and having having parties and block parties and how we manage safety. And I don't have an opinion either way. I just wanted to throw that out for those who weren't here. Cause there's some fear about coming together right now too,
I
obviously.
participate in a lot of open streets in Minneapolis, a lot. And safety in Lake Street, it's a big one. The last one we had, first of all, you need to decide first if you want to use like private lots for the parties or you're going to do it on the streets. Like example, Burrito Mercado can do a small block party, so we don't need to pay for a lot of things because it's in a private lot. Like I'm in the other side. Maybe talking to my landlords, we can do something, but Babani's, it's next to me. So that parking lot is huge. Maybe they can provide spaces. So when you provide like closed spaces, it's kind of easier to maintain like the security and the permits. Because health department is going to be involved, like it's a lot of things. Us as a small businesses, we need to pay to be in those events just because Minnesota has their rules and we need to follow them. We can make money in those. Yes, that is the idea, right? But the budgets are very complicated, depends on where and how you're going to do those events.
Right.
In my personal opinion, I think what the West Side needs the most right now is let people know why we are special, why we are here, and who we are and why we need to be a great destination. And without maps, without being organized, like online and without like flags or stuff, nobody knows we exist. Like the 90% of the business are in the West Side, nobody knows anything about us.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree. But again, not forgetting, I think the artists that are here, I think that there's a way to include that.
Like with Alebrijes, like
Yeah.
I'm right
That
next
was
to them.
amazing,
The
yeah.
only one connected to the park, and nobody told me anything about the Alebrijes.
Yeah.
So it's something, I'm Latin, it's a Latin thing, and it's amazing. And us, like we are next to them, we didn't know anything about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I could participate doing something like, or I don't know.
You can, I think there's still time. It goes all the way through October.
We
So we'll
can
let them
add
know.
a contact maybe in the follow-up or some
Yeah.
resource to connect with them.
Yeah.
Another way that, so we have a website, we have the West Side, Minnesota West Side Business Coalition. Yeah, we have a website where we ran into problem is like manage funds to like manage the website and in the time and the expertise to manage the web. That's a big opportunity to improve on that, get our businesses in the directory, and then we plug in with the different, opportunities around our, around the west side.
Yeah.
and to really connect people there. That's an opportunity too.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing money allocated towards like that website management, but in the directories. That's what I'm
The
hearing.
mapping.
The mapping.
Yeah.
Because if this is going to be an opportunity again next year, if we work on the mapping, the signage, the websites,
Signage.
before we have our block parties, that's really building into the success of all of that
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, you have to have a stepping stone into that.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So would it be, so I just want to maybe then pull a thread on the signage real quick because we haven't talked about that a lot. So would the signage concentrate maybe on marking the beginning and end of each corridor? Because again, we got to remember this is corridor money, so we can't put signs wherever. Or are what are we talking about with signage specifically?
I think before and after corridor. I mean, because naturally, like my businesses are right outside the corridor, so I wouldn't be like directly influenced, but I feel like it wouldn't matter because it's still a start. It's a start for we are here and we have businesses here.
Have you seen like the signage, I think finishing the, or before the bridge of Waukesha, I think they are not flags. They are kind of like little strips like that with the name of the businesses. An example, if the corridor is like this, they have like 3 stepping like this,
We could do that.
saying the businesses or what you can find in this side. And then if you are outside of the corridor, you can have in the same pole the name of, maybe not all the businesses, but like something, like, when you're driving, you see the gas station thing and, in the exits. I don't know, something like that to
And
be a
that
little
would
bit more.
support the Robert Street businesses.
So that's
Yeah.
different than the
Also.
corridor branding. This is literally street signage that says
Yeah, no,
like
but-
there's a business here, there's a business there.
And then
They're gonna go with the flags, not flags,
No,
this is a sign.
That,
This
this was
would not be that.
literally different. But if we wanted to put money to plan a broader project around the corridor branding,
We could do that.
that's something else too.
Can I ask your professional opinion on working with businesses in different areas where you think the most impact would?
I think would be the branding, but you need to let people know that you're here. So I think that's what you need to start working on, branding to let people know who you are, the website, and attract people here. And the branding obviously would include the social media that we discussed, the mapping, the banners and everything, if there is if it's within your budget. But I think the branding would be the most important thing. So like you said, you will let people know that you are here and then they will keep coming, for the events that we are discussing as well.
Okay.
But I think that's my opinion, the community engagement work that I have done, I think that would be the primary solution, to do the branding.
Who decide because this is another thing maybe we can do, and this is not part of this budget. I think I have an email. I need to look, but long time ago, I talked to somebody, I don't know if it was the city or transportation, to put the name of businesses like in the exit of the, like in Plato, like, so you can put like your logo on that.
Is that MnDOT?
Yes.
Because when MnDOT was at a business meeting at Boca Chica last year, they did say that they will supply signage.
I applied
the
for that a
construction.
couple weeks ago and
They said that they will.
No.
They said no.
Yeah, so maybe if we all push on that,
Yep, exactly.
because that can help with something we don't need to, that doesn't
Yeah.
need to be part of this budget, and it's their job.
Yep, and they said, they told the businesses that.
Was that for Robert
We're
Street?
That was
talking
for the
about
Robert
Robert Street
Street
specific, yeah,
During construction.
yeah, that's what that's
During-
about.
Yeah, but that's what I thought was weird, like there was no money in there, I was like.
Well, for signage, but that's,
But also,
you
like,
wanna
there's some major
yeah.
construction going on
Okay.
Smith, it's not West Side, but there's no signage, so unless we say and request signage for the Robert Street.
Right.
okay, so we have 10 minutes left, so I'm gonna do a quick, like, mirroring back what I'm hearing. And I'm just gonna, we don't need a formal vote, honestly, just I'm gonna look for some thumbs up, yeah,
I know we came late, we're doing an introduction for
yeah,
quick
please,
introduction.
yeah.
Yes.
Like everyone?
Yeah, so.
Okay.
that's
Well,
fine.
can I finish this
No, that's
part?
fine.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
fine.
Cool, yeah, absolutely, yeah. So what I'm hearing is, we have some energy that we are moving forward with around specifically the marketing campaign. And within the marketing campaigns, we like the idea of the digital mapping. We like the idea of exploring also the printed maps. And we want to think through what the corridor branding concept could look like.
Yes.
What I'm also hearing is if there's a way to squeeze in on the budget, once those core things are done, some actual physical signage strategies that could be leveraging MnDOT, but they're gonna focus on corridors where MnDOT has projects. They're not just gonna do it everywhere necessarily, but we could still find out and find leverage opportunities, but even some markers that say you're on the Smith Avenue corridor, like let's see how the budget kind of knocks out and see what we could do for some physical signage and see. I'm not hearing a ton of, like, I guess I am hearing energy around community events. But there's it's a mixed bag right now as to whether that's feeling like the best and highest use. So maybe what I could say, and again, we have a tight timeline, but let's see where the budget lands. And if there's like some money left, I could just throw in, we're gonna do a community event and we could decide what it is later together because we have time to then decide the strategy. We just have to say 10,000 for an event, whatever. And then I'm hearing that for the micro grants, like the sub grants, I'm not hearing a ton of energy for it. We should hold people accountable to like get this money because they are responsible for figuring out a budget to mitigate the display.
And if we really want impact, we need to be, all of us, we need to be
Together.
part of the same
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
And kind of like fight all this wave of
Yeah.
West Side doesn't exist because this makes me so angry. I think
Good?
it's worth it.
Good?
Yeah.
So can I get a thumbs up if we're feeling okay? Two thumbs up? Okay, all right, good. And then with that said, my next steps, and then we're gonna go into introductions, is I'm gonna be framing up this proposal. I'll be starting to plug in numbers to each line item. If I run into some big questions, I might just hit up that email list and just like get some feedback. I can't promise that I can hit everybody's wishes, but if there's something major that comes up, I'll put it back to the group.
Well, and we
Good.
know this will build, so
This
this
will build,
year
yeah.
is a start, more, and it would leverage more money.
Yeah.
And also, we know we agreed that we can't do everything
We can do everything.
this year,
Okay.
right now.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And yeah, now let's do some, like, maybe let's do a final, like, closeout, but let's keep it tight because I know y'all gotta get back to your lives too. So if you could reshare your name, your business, and maybe, one like sentence about how you're feeling leaving this meeting today. So I'm Coco. I'm interim associate director at the Westside Community Organization, and I'm feeling very energized by this conversation. And I'm gonna pass it here.
You took my word.
Sorry.
So my name is Monica. I am the director at the Westside Community Organization, and yes, I'm feeling energized. I'm just gonna copy. And
I'm Lisa Franksman. I'm a SBA lender at Drake Bank. Frank's
Yay.
be alum, but this was great for me because, we're right down the street and I didn't know all of these things were going on. I think you and I have talked once before because I remember your names.
yeah, Thank you for being.
There's no one left online.
Yeah, my name is Frank Amagua, Drake Bake Building. I actually, I had no idea that there was this much going on the west side. I've always worked in Minneapolis, lived in Ridley. Coming to here is a whole new world, so it's great to see new faces, some familiar faces, and, yeah, so looking forward to some more meetings, but we'll gotta be on time next time.
We'll go to the back first.
I go by the name of Rico the Barber. I'm actually the new lease holder of formerly the Tom's Barber Shop. So I'll be taking over in July and hopefully the opening in August. But I was concerned about the whole Robert C thing and how far that goes down. So I'm glad to be here today and kind of nervous about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. You're in Tom's.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I'm Sarah and I'm one of the owners of International Elite Gymnastics. We just opened over off of Plato Boulevard 2 months ago.
That's great.
Mr. Adrian.
Congratulations.
And I'm Hisham, and I'm one of the owner for International Elite Gymnastics. I'm mainly the coach, and yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Wow. I know, like we all got some good gymnasts.
And my name is Grecia and I'm the owner of the Michoacana, so this is my first time attending to a meeting like this.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, yes.
My name is Elay Ramirez. I am the chef and owner of Kraski Restaurant over there alone in the bridge. I'm very excited about all this. I love to meet, people around. I think we need this. I think we need more human connection and these meetings help a lot. Like we are not alone fighting here, like crying alone. So we can just hug each other and try to put the West Side where it needs to be. I just want to say something really quick. I don't know if you guys know, but I launched a serious dinner 3 months ago called Cena Cubanas. That means dinner among friends. The idea of these dinners is to raise funds for Latin immigrants. So I have collaborations with all the Latin chefs in town once a month. We start with the chef from Oro. In May, we had the chef from Chelas and El Sazon last month. We have Neti Colon from Puerto Rico this month. And all these dinners, I'm donating absolutely all the sales to these dinners to 8 different nonprofits organizations who are fighting to help Latin community in these times. Actually, this month, the nonprofit organization is Neighborhood House. So we will be working together on June 25th. The tickets are $165. I know they are expensive, but it's because I need to give this money. I don't pretend everybody to help going just to the ticket, but if you have any way you can help to just, a lot of these organizations are doing like online silent actions. You can donate $20, $10, or whatever you can, or just spread the word and help the communities as you feel you like comfortable with. We will really appreciate it. This is going to be all year long. Our last dinner is in November, so.
What date is the July dinner? I'm sorry.
27th, I think so. If you go to our website, I can give you some cards. You can see all the dates and all the chefs on the lineup.
Thank you.
Luis Mendoza from Minnesota Consortium of Community Developers, business advisor, non-officer, and I'm leaving this room very energized, and I'm glad that you guys decided to do the branding, because I think that would be very impactful for your area.
Hey everybody, I'm Electra Shedletsky. I'm Lisa's colleague at the Minnesota Consortium of Community Developers, also a business advisor and lender. I'm leaving this room just feeling like so grateful that you all are here together to do what the community needs done with such clarity at heart. It's really, really beautiful. Happy to support all right there.
My name is Mandy. I'm a business owner at Flex Space Studios. We've been there for almost 8 years. I am on the board of directors for Westco for the past 3.5 years. And in my work being a business owner and on the board of directors, I realized the big gap and lack of support for Westside business owners. So a year ago, we came together and decided that regardless of resources, we're gonna make a point to come together and meet once quarterly with little agenda, little expectation, and it's been really beautiful to see how it's grown and it, leaving feeling very supported. Thank you, Coco, for coming in and helping with these resources. And I just want to thank Wesco for being a partnership, in supporting the West Side Business Coalition. Julia has been an awesome support. So yeah, it's lonely being a small business owner, and it's hard, and it's been extremely hard the last couple of years, and I feel supported. So thank you for being here and for the support.
Hi, my name is Julia. I'm the communications coordinator from Wesco. I'm also, should have mentioned this earlier, I'm also the daughter of Melissa Silva, who's the owner of El Burrito Mercado. So heart representative for them as well. They couldn't be here, but they knew about this, and I'll be passing along this information to them as well. And yeah, I am so passionate about businesses, uplifting businesses on the West Side. I'm really excited to support this work, and I'm so grateful for everyone who is in this room. And you know, we're learning, we're growing. We want these meetings to be as accessible as possible, and so with each meeting, they will get better and better and better. So thank you all for being here and be patient as we figure this whole thing out together.
My name's Keiko. I'm from the bike shop on Smith Avenue. We've been there for 21 years, and I'm thinking of speaking and taking it into the school, and I'm very thankful for you. Yeah, I'll help as much as that we could. Thank you.
I'm Mimi, business owner of the sweetest place in the west side of the Mimi's Bakery. And I really appreciate this meeting. So nice and so positive. Very great to know, all the stuff that you cover in this meeting, and that make us feel very energetic to, support with any ideas and any feedback. So I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
And then I'm Nancy. I am KDL Street Eats, the food truck here and on my side. And I don't think I've ever come to a meeting and not left feeling really inspired. And we talk about being business owners and how resiliency or hard it can be. And I was having one of those days. Like I told you, we had an event canceled tonight. So I'm very happy to be here, feeling a lot more, just excited, and the resiliency I need. So thank you so much.
Cool. Well, thank you all. Appreciate you. We'll be in touch with how we're gonna roll this thing out. So
Keep sending a follow-up email.
bye.
Email if you're not receiving.